What's going on, guys? So it's out. The A7V is out. This is a camera that we've been waiting for a while, maybe not like a long time. I mean, they've waited 10 years for the RXR1, 1R Mark V, whatever it's called. I don't even know the name because I've never shot with one, but the A7V is out and I want to talk about it. I want to kind of break down some of that like stigma about the camera, about it not being really worth the upgrade, and kind of just tell you that I'm actually going to buy the camera. Right now I'm shooting on the A7 IV, and I'll be honest with you, I feel like my A7 IV is outdated. Is it a great camera? Yes, I believe the A7 IV is a great camera, and I highly recommend it to people who are just starting out. Normally, I recommend maybe an A7 III, but if they have the money, I tell them to get the A7 IV because it's going to future-proof them for a while until they need something better or maybe higher resolution. The A7V, I'm not going to talk about a ton of specs, guys. There's a million videos on the internet right now, and I hate doing these videos because I don't even have a copy in my hand to show you. One of these days, I will be cool enough to get those pre-production copies. Sony, what's up? Come on, let's make it happen. But anyways, I have the A7R5, so I'm shooting on the A7 IV. The A7R5 is my main body. Don't mind the lens with this nasty scratch on the front. This would be the most comparable, at least body-wise, to the A7 V. So if you guys know, the A7 V did get this new tilt screen, which this is one thing that I absolutely, not one thing, there's a million things about this camera that I love, but I love this design because Sony has changed their screen a number of times. The A7 III, I believe, only did a tilt up like this and never had the flippy screen because vlogging at the time wasn't that huge. And Sony figured out how to give you the tilt screen and a flippy screen, and I love it. I mean, it'd be really hard for me to go to any other camera brand that doesn't have that tilt screen. I'm a hybrid shooter. I shoot a lot of photo, a lot of video, and when I'm shooting video, I'm primarily in this mode right here. This is that tilt mode, or even when I'm shooting street photography, which I've been doing a ton of lately. I just got back from Japan, did a ton of street photography out there. I love shooting in this mode right here. It's so comfortable to me. I can get it close to my chest so I can, have a nice, 3 points of contact, all of that stuff. But I think moving forward, Sony is gonna just put that in all their bodies. They're not gonna go back to like a flip screen or a tilt screen. I think that is the new screen that you will see in across the board, all their bodies. Maybe except for like the cinema cameras, because we didn't see that screen, which I think was a huge mistake. We did not see that screen in the FX2. If they would have put that in the FX2, that camera probably would have got a little less heat than it did. I think the FX2 is amazing camera. We're seeing trends right now with Sony about like literally leveling up their cameras by these small increments. There's no like huge gap in between their cameras. And another thing Sony has done and has been notorious to do is do a firmware upgrade right before the camera release and only give you that much of what is going to be in the new camera. For instance, the new firmware upgrade. So the firmware upgrade in the A7 IV and the A7R5 gave us this mode right here, which allows you to basically see your displays when you rotate your camera. It also gave us the large XL spot, the autofocus area, the single spot. We need a large XL now, which I love. I think it's actually one that I'm going to probably be using mostly. Spec wise on the A7 V, I mean, it's not amazing, but I think it's a large upgrade to the A7 IV. A lot of people are upset that it doesn't have open gates. A lot of people are upset because the camera doesn't have open gate. And to be honest with you, I can care two shits that it doesn't have open gate. It has 4K 60 with no crop finally. We have that in an A7 body, and it, has higher readout speeds with the electronic shutter. I don't even use the electronic shutter, so I don't really care about that either. As a wedding photographer and a portrait photographer, there's not a lot of times where I need electronic shutter. I have used it in the past when I absolutely needed it, but I mean, I'm there to take pictures. So if you hear my shutter, you know I'm there doing my job. So it's not that big of a deal. But I do love the fact that you can put LUTs in the camera. That's a firmware upgrade that they did not add to the A7R5 or the A7 IV. That's Sony for you. Like I said, they only give you that much of what's coming out, what's coming in new and hot on a firmware upgrade. And then they put leave those other two things on the new camera. So I'm gonna upgrade to the A7 V. And let me tell you why from my perspective. One, I've had my A7 IV for almost 2 or 3 years now. I got it around the time it came out and it's been a workhorse, but I will tell you this, I feel like the shutter is gonna go out. So one thing a lot of people are not talking about is that there is a new shutter mechanism in the A7 V from the A7 IV. So the A7 IV has been notorious for the shutter to go out around 200,000 clicks. And that's actually one of the reasons that I'm probably going to be upgrading to the A7 V, because I feel like the shutter in my A7 IV is like 2 to 3 weddings away from going out. I could just feel it. It's a little crunchier. I've seen some metal filaments come off the shutter when I do high burst rates. So I think it's there. And that's why I really need to upgrade. I'm not upgrading to the A7 V because I think it's a camera that's like, oh my gosh. I'm upgrading more so out of necessity. Also having those LUTs and that new partially stacked sensor, faster readouts, all of those are bonuses for me. But, you know, I do feel like Sony missed a mark on this camera. Not completely, but I do feel like they could have did a little more. One of the big things is Sony waited so long to release this camera. This camera is actually supposed to be released a while ago. And intentionally, they held it back because they wanted to see what Canon was going to do. And I'm speculating. I'm not saying this is a real thing. I'm speculating. This is just what I've heard on the internet and what I've read. They wanted to see what Canon was going to do. They wanted to see what Canon was going to price their camera at. And then they dropped their camera. It's, I think, slightly lower in price than Canon, but it's also a Sony. And I think the price that Sony chose for this camera is a great price. It's that like serious hobbyist price, but like just enough for like a professional like myself to be able to justify buying that camera as a third body or as a second body or as a replacement to my A7 IV. You know, we'll see how things come out with the raw files and in the future weeks coming up. We'll see how everything pans out, but I think Sony did a great job with this camera. With the release, one thing that I love is they just recently put out an application that if you are a content creator, you can apply to get your hands on one of these new releases. I hope that's something that they move forward with, because as somebody like myself who has a smaller YouTube footprint, it's hard for me to get these production models from companies because they're like, oh, you're so small, you don't have this, blah. But now they're allowing you to apply for it. Hopefully I applied. If I get the camera, I can do a real life, you know, review, show you guys the camera, the B-roll and all that stuff. Right now you're stuck with the A7R5 as its replacement. Everyone wants open gate, though people who want open gate probably have never even shot with open gate. They just want to say they want open gate, and you know, I've never needed it. I don't do a lot of vertical format content for professional work or anything like that. I never send out reels, you know, to clients. And if I do, I just make it work with a wider lens. I make it work with, you know, doing 3 frames in one. You know, I just make it work. I don't need the open gate. We are going to see like this weird slowdown in camera tech. And I actually predict that we're gonna go backwards. And we've already seen it. We've seen people release analog cameras now. You know, Pentax is coming out with cameras. Film is still slowly making a big comeback. Now, what is next with Sony? We don't know what is on the horizon. At least I don't know what's on the horizon. Everyone wants a FX3 Mark II. And what is that going to entail? Like, what specs are they gonna have in that? Is that the camera they finally put open gate in? Is it gonna have internal NDs? You know, we have no idea. And I think we're still probably at least 5 years away from that camera, maybe longer. This is a Nikon. I want a compact camera like this, point and shoot from Sony. Even if it's a fixed lens that's small, that maybe we could put those film simulations in. Guys, the A7V has film simulations, which is wild. So if we can get something like this from Sony, that's like a $1,200 camera maybe, I think that would be really rad. We need to dial it back. I think we want too much from camera companies these days. And Sony did a great job with this camera. Is it for you? Probably not. It's for me. I love it. I'm excited. I'm gonna get it. That's it. I'm talking too much. This was supposed to be a short video. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Guys, if you could please like, subscribe, and comment. I am so close to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm trying to get 1,000 before the end of this year. I wanted to do a Vlogmas this year. Probably not gonna happen, but I will be pumping out a ton of videos in December, so stay tuned for that. Yeah, that's it. See you in the next one. Peace.